ESPN app and ESPN Radio. What's up, everybody? I just pulled a full-on Chris Berman.
Hey, yeah, you did.
Which is sitting down the second that we're starting on the show. I didn't get a fresh cup of coffee.
Hoskins was like, there's nobody in their seats.
I know. We really lost track of time.
I know. What's up, everybody?
Hey.
We're live here on this franchise tag edition of the program, World Baseball Classic, starting the NBA season, getting red hot. 3 guests. We've got Trevor Sikkema with the first post-combine mock draft of Pro Football Focus. Trevor Sikkema is going to join us on the program. And then in hour 3, we've got a new friend of the program on this show. 844-204-RICH is the number to dial. Also, we've got Von Miller is going to be on this program. I believe he is zooming in from a vacation after he hung out at the Combine. So he's trying to, I think, become a general manager.
I did see that headline. That's kind of cool.
Did you see all that stuff?
I did see that. He was shadowing some GMs, trying to learn about, the front office workings of the league. And maybe that's a career path in the future for him. I like that.
Why not? 844-204-RICH being the number to dial. Good to see you over there, Jay Felly. How are you?
What's up?
TJ Jefferson, good to see you over there.
What's up, man?
Again, we've got, it's a 3-guest Wednesday, everybody, here on the program. If it wasn't a Wednesday, it's a Tuesday. Dorian Missick is going to be on this program, the actor. We've never had him here in studio. He's going to be here in hour number 3. So we've got all of that going on. He's here in support of his new show, 56 Days, which was released just on February 18th. So it's a new program that you could see on Prime Video. We're going to talk about it with him. He's from, I believe, East Orange, New Jersey, which is only fitting that Del Tufo's not here. So we start this show in 2022.
Oh.
This is when Jet fans were all very excited. If you remember, I spent many a moon on this set saying prior to that draft, there is a cornerback at the University of Cincinnati that I want. I was pounding this table. I spoke Sauce Gardner
You really did.
into existence, okay? I spoke Sauce Gardner into existence, okay? So, and then he gets drafted. And the Jets have 2 first-round picks, and they go ahead and get Garrett Wilson as well. And then they trade back into the first round and get a 3rd first-round pick. Remember that I had Joe Douglas on the program? I'm like, brother, what you just did, you should dine out for free in New York City the rest of your life. Because then in the 2nd round, he goes ahead and drafts Breece Hall. Look at all 4 of those guys, huh? At the time, it's like we got our corner, we got our number 1 wide receiver, we got ourselves a big-time pass rusher, and then we got ourselves a running back to go for it as well. And Breece Hall had like 1st round written all over him. He somehow dropped to the 2nd round, and the Jets grabbed him too. Yep. And everybody's like, this is the core 4. That right there. Yada, yada, yada. Cut to right now.
Are any of them still?
Well, it is interesting because, Sauce Gardner gets traded to Indianapolis last year for 2 firsts. And, Quinton Williams wasn't on the screen, but he was drafted just right around then as well. And while we're in Indianapolis, the Jets trade Jermaine Johnson away for T'Vondre Sweat. You don't usually trade, pass rushers for defensive tackles, but the Cowboys showed you can do that and get away with it.
Worked out.
Ish.
We'll see.
And then, word is, what are they going to do with Breece Hall? Can't let him walk. Would they potentially trade him? They were kept saying, we're going to sign him, we're going to try and at least franchise tag him. And, being a fan of the Jets, you got to sit around going, do you really? Are you gonna? We don't still have a quarterback, because that's what you said back then when you had all 4 of those guys. Like, who's a quarterback? Okay, Zach Wilson, let's go. Year later, they try Aaron Rodgers. That doesn't work out for after 2 years. They're still wondering who the quarterback is there in New York. And to the credit of the front office, they decided to go ahead and franchise tag him today. And sure enough, Breece Hall isn't going anywhere, at least for 1 year. and it's a $14.293 million tag. It's the non-exclusive. The exclusive tag's a little bit even higher, to the point where, the league doesn't even really disseminate that publicly, or at least in the media. You don't even see what the exclusive franchise tag is. Bottom line is, the non-exclusive means the Jets only lose him if somebody offers him a contract and you let him walk and they give you 2 first-rounders. That's not happening for a running back. So Breece Hall's not going anywhere, and now the Jets will have to try and come to a long-term agreement with Breece Hall. And if they do that, I would counsel to say they do it fast, because Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan Robinson are up for contracts. And so is Kenneth Walker III. He's the Super Bowl MVP, and it seems like the Seahawks are ready to let him walk, that they're not going to slap him with the franchise tag. As you know, franchise tags are either placed or slapped on somebody. They're placed on somebody if they don't mind, slapped if they do. Breece Hall, you just saw from that tweet, you have no idea what he's really thinking deep down. Does he want to be there? Apparently he does. Frank Reich is the new offensive coordinator there. I saw him in Indianapolis. We're assuming he's going to use Breece Hall to his fullest. Who's the quarterback? The bottom line is, at least the Jets have held on to him and have a top-notch running back who last year, despite having nothing going for them last year on offense, the New York Jets still got a season out of Breece Hall that is worthy of his contract, or at least the money that he's going to be paid. $14 million, 1,065 yards, career high on a 3-14 team. How does that work? So half of the young core 4 is still with the team. And the Jets are still asking their fans to trust the process of turning all the draft choices and all the choices that they made about trading away Sauce and trading away Quinnen Williams and trading away Jermaine Johnson. In that process, you must trust. We'll see what happens. Second overall pick. What does this mean? It certainly means, as I love Jeremiah Love, he's not going to be second overall. That's for sure. Because you don't go ahead and franchise tag Breece Hall and choose a running back second overall. Nor do you really want to choose a running back second overall sometimes, because it may not work out more often than not. Speaking of. 1 year later in New York City, the New York Giants, the Jets, co-tenants, they have a decision to make. Do they pay their quarterback long-term? Can they get a long-term deal with him? Can they do that? If not, do they franchise tag him? And if they do that, that means that there's a free agent for a crucial piece of an offense as well. Do you pay this guy a long-term deal, or do you franchise tag him and get your quarterback under contract? How do you keep both? You don't want one walking. You want the quarterback and a crucial piece of the offense to somehow stay put. And the Giants could not come to an agreement with Saquon Barkley and franchise tagged him and paid Daniel Jones long-term. This coming off of the 2022 playoff season, in which their new head coach, Brian Daboll, was coach of the year. Daniel Jones looked like Colin Kaepernick in Green Bay when he visited Minnesota on a playoff Sunday and destroyed them with Saquon Barkley, only to go to Philadelphia and get curb stomped and have this decision placed in front of him. Do you believe in Daniel Jones enough to give him a long-term contract? Do you franchise tag him? Or do you turn to a crucial piece of the offense and say, let's long-term you and franchise tag the quarterback? Because we don't know what we have in him. We've only seen 1 year from him. What do? We all know the Giants chose door number, pay Daniel Jones long-term, franchise tag Saquon Barkley, and we all know that was a brutal decision that cost them years and eventually led to Saquon walking and winning a Lombardi trophy with a 2,000-yard rushing season for their hated rivals down the turnpike. Chris Ballard, at this very moment, wherever he is in Indianapolis, has got a decision to make about, guess who? Daniel Jones.
Mm-hmm.
And the other crucial piece of the offense that he's got to deal with is Alec Pierce, the wide receiver from Cincinnati, one of our glue guys, I think, from back in the day. And Alec Pierce just had a 1,000-yard receiving season and a career-high 47 catches. And is, if you recall, was a waiver wire darling for some people in fantasy because he would have some weeks where he didn't catch it, and he would have some weeks where all he would do is get one chunk play after another, and Daniel Jones would go up top to this guy.
Yep.
So what do? What does one do? Because the franchise tag for a quarterback is 43, wait for it, $1 million. And the franchise tag for wide receiver is, wait for it, $27 million. Now, you can do what everybody's expecting Chris Ballard to do, which is transition tag Daniel Jones, which is $37 million, $6 million less. You can get some quality players or one quality player for that extra $6 million. But you would also allow Daniel Jones to become a free agent at the same time, seeking a long-term deal somewhere else that you do have a right to match. And if you don't, you lose him for nothing. You do that, you could lose Alec Pierce for nothing, too. This is what faces Chris Ballard in the next few hours. What does one do? What one would probably want to do, I would think, is to get Alec Pierce signed long-term and see what Daniel Jones has got for that one more year coming off an Achilles injury. Don't forget, the Giants saw their decision was made off of watching him win a playoff game. And like I said, Colin Kaepernick in Green Bay, that's all they were doing, was either running it or throwing it with Daniel Jones. He was stellar in that playoff game. This one, he was stellar for a half a year, only to pop his Achilles after the team began to stumble a little bit, run a little bit out of gas. And then now the decision needs to be made. You're going to sign him long-term and then franchise tag Alec Pierce and pay him $27 million? You're already making that face about that's not what you're going to do. But the interesting thing is here is, unlike the last time this decision was made involving the Giants and Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley, who they franchise tag. By the way, the difference between the franchise tag for Breece Hall this year in 2026 of 1 year, $14.2 million. Saquon's franchise tag was $10 million. Could you imagine? You imagine that? And so the reason why I'm bringing all this up is because if Daniel Jones walks, he is the big stone in the ripple of the quarterback pond this year. I understand what I'm about to say. Similar to Matthew Stafford last year. Remember Matthew Stafford? Is he sticking with the Rams or not? Because if he doesn't and he goes somewhere else, boy, does that create this massive ripple effect that does involve Aaron Rodgers, that involves, obviously, the Rams. What do they do? What do you do if you're, who else was he knocking on the door of the Steelers? The Giants. Remember the Giants were knocking on Stafford's door?
Thought they were getting him.
But this year, Daniel Jones is coming off of half a season of a non-playoff team that fell apart after he got hurt. And I'm telling you, if he's free and everybody thinks he's healthy, they're going to go after him. And that's going to create a ripple effect of Daniel Jones being cut free, coming off of an Achilles injury, along with Kyler Murray, along with Tua Tagovailoa, along with Kirk Cousins, along with Derek Carr, whatever's going on with him and his shoulder. And I bet you Daniel Jones and Malik Willis, Daniel Jones would be the first stop for a lot of teams that are looking for a quarterback, including potentially, who knows, Minnesota, that wanted him last year at this time to stay, and he did the Sam Darnold plan, was like, I'm not sticking around here just to watch J.J. McCarthy over my shoulder. Now everybody thinks it's a different situation with J.J. McCarthy up in Minnesota. This is a big decision that Chris Ballard has over the next few hours. And it's kind of crazy how the Jets franchise tag one of their core four from years ago, half of which they've gotten rid of and traded away. And that was the draft that was supposed to launch 1,000 playoff seasons for the Jets.
Yep.
Instead of 1,000 memes of kids saying he's hates the team.
I hate this team.
I hate this team.
And then the Giants then that year make the playoffs, creating a conundrum involving Daniel Jones and a top offensive player on the team. And what do? Sign one long-term, franchise the other, let them both go? What do you do? It's amazing how 4 years later this happens on the same day. Let's take a break. Here on the program, we talk about the latest and all of the franchise tag decisions. There's one that's just apparently been made, one that I just made reference to. We'll hit on that. Also, Trevor Sikkema of the Pro Football Focus team, he's come up with his first, I haven't seen too many mock drafts post-combine. This one is interesting. Now that we've seen all the workouts, he's next